Hi. Usually when we're in the kitchen, Grace is helping me. Today, I'm her assistant, and we're here in our pajamas because we're making one of her favorite breakfasts. Now, this is going to be a whey protein smoothie. I don't generally use these because whey protein doesn't work well with my body, but this is a whey protein isolate, so it has the casein and the sugars removed, so it's generally safer to use. I also bake with this, so we use it for dual purpose. Grace, you're going to tell them about your favorite strawberry smoothie?
So, to start with a strawberry smoothie, you're going to get your blender or your container that you're making it in. And for this case, it's a single serving.
That's our single serving Ninja.
And so it's about half filled with crushed ice, or a little less than half. And then we're going to add 1/3 a cup of heavy cream.
Actually, it's 1/4 cup.
Oh, sorry, 1/4 cup of heavy cream.
We try to limit the heavy cream because there are carbs in that, and if you're sensitive to dairy. So that's a 1/4 cup of heavy cream.
And then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water.
Right, it's a 1/4 cup of water, and I measured it for you. But it's about a 1/4 cup of water, a little more, to thin it, because the protein powder is so thick, and you can put the water to your preference. Water doesn't have carbs, thank goodness.
And then I like to add MCT oil, and I add this to help for the fat in it, and it gives me like protein, or like it helps
right, it adds
going.
fat because there's not as much fat.
Yeah.
And Grace has found that when she uses the fat, it helps her not be hungry. She has this in the morning around 7 and then eats lunch at school 12:30 or 1.
Or like 1. And so I'm using half a teaspoon.
It's a half teaspoon. She doesn't overdo it because MCT goes straight to the liver. It's medium chain triglycerides. It goes straight to the liver and gets metabolized first. So it can cause tummy upset. So only half teaspoon is fine. She tried it once with coconut oil or butter, and what happened to that?
It made a mess.
The ice made it little chunks, and it wasn't a good fit. So that's where we ended up with the MCT. All right.
And
so you want to do that?
Yeah. So I also like to put in about a little more than half a cup, or half a scoop of or probably 3/4 of a cup, or the scoop of whey isolate.
Whey protein isolate.
Whey protein isolate.
Yeah, so that's a little more than a half scoop of whey protein isolate. You can use more or less to your taste, and depending on your macros.
And then the next one, you don't have to put this in if you don't want to, especially if you're using a vanilla whey protein isolate. But this is just vanilla extract.
Yeah, and we have a plain whey protein because I bake with it. But she is using, and I just use a couple drops of that. Yeah. So just a drop or two to intensify the flavor.
Well, I like very intense flavors.
What's next?
So next we're going to put in strawberry extract, and we're only going to put in, we're not going to put in a lot of this, just
I'll use a half teaspoon.
Yeah, half teaspoon.
I use a half teaspoon of the strawberry extract, and then Grace, if we have them on hand, Grace likes to add a couple strawberries, and they give it flavor, they give it a little fiber, they also give it some fructose, so we go lightly on those, but Grace really loves, and it gives it a little bit of that pretty color too. And then sweetener,
so
is your last thing?
I usually just use sugar drops because it's easiest for me, and then I don't have to measure out the sucrin, but that's good too.
If you were going to use sucrin, the Sucrin Plus is pretty concentrated. I would use the powdered sucrin because it's going to, it won't be gritty. It's going to dissolve better. But Grace likes the liquid for that same reason, because it dissolves.
I usually just use 2 or 3 drops. I'll do 3.
Okay, and you can do it to your taste. All right, let's put the lid on this thing. There you go.
And put it, and we have a Ninja, and so we use this.
Yeah, we use our Ninja, but you could use whatever blender. Go ahead. You have on hand. Really pretty. It's interesting how the 2 strawberries give it that great pink color.
Yeah, it's really, it looks pretty.
Okay, I think it's good. It's not as thick as normal. The ice got soft while we're sitting and talking. Usually we put the ice and do it straight away, and so it's thicker. Let me move this out of your way. And you got a glass over there?
Yes, ma'am. So
looks really good. And she does enjoy this, and I was making them for her, and then she figured out to make them herself, and so this is something she can do in the morning, and usually she drinks it on the way to school, so it's pretty fast too.
And you can just add a cool pink and then color changing.
Oh yeah, a color changing straw. What could make it better? All right, give it a taste. How'd you do?
Okay. That's good.
Yum. Can I have a taste? Little taste because it's got dairy.
I like your cooking, but I like mine too.
Grace, that's actually good. I may try that one morning and see if I can handle it.
Good.
That's really good. Thank you, Grace, for sharing that recipe with us. And I hope that if you try this at home that you enjoy it too.